Welcome to Awesome Talk. I am Rick.
I am Sarah.
I am Ryan.
And we are here with Naomi Grossman, who plays Pepper on American Horror Story. And we are very, very glad to have her call in right now because she just called
for the
in.
second time.
She feels like an old friend.
Yeah.
I know. There's something so familiar about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about your life since Pepper came into your life. How have things changed? How is your life different than before?
Oh gosh. I mean, on some levels, it hasn't. It's it is. It. I still wake up and have to pee and go to the bath. Still get hungry in midday. No. On some levels it hasn't changed at all, and on others, 100%. I mean, like, shoot. I in the next month, I'm going to be traveling to Toronto and Germany and Kentucky and, signing autographs. Like, that never happened before,
Well,
I
we
signed...
used to sign autographs, but people didn't know why. It's like, wait.
Now people actually want them, and that's nice. Yeah.
What are you going
It was kind of awkward before when I was like, oh, please take this.
I forgot to ask before, too, because you mentioned Toronto. I don't know if you've ever been there, but I've heard that it's, like, actually the second most popular film location on the planet. And that most of the stuff that you see in the movie, and there's a really, really thriving community out there where film is related. Do you find yourself out there very often, or?
I haven't, but that is true. Absolutely true. A lot of my writer friends are always saying, "Oh, I wish you were Canadian."
You're like, no,
totally use you. Like, you should go marry a Canadian,
American? Oh, damn, sorry.
Every time I heard someone tell me that.
Yeah, no, it's true.
If only you were Canadian.
It seems like most people want to come here and marry for, like, a green card, but actors in Hollywood want to marry Canadians.
Nice.
I want to talk a little bit about Red Meat Entertainment. Obviously, you got a lot of stuff on your YouTube page, and a lot of it is comedy, okay? So, Pepper, you're moving over into horror. So, what's that jump like for you?
It wasn't that much of a jump. At least not from comedy to horror. I think at the end of the day, like, Pepper was, a really big character, which in general I tend to do in comedy because that's sort of the genre I've sort of chosen for myself. And so, to do that in horror, I mean, there are differences, but at the end of the day, it's, I'm doing a big character, and they lend themselves really well to comedy. They lend themselves really well to horror.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I can see how one might think, oh my God, it's so different. One is like this ding-dong little video on the internet. The other is like, critically acclaimed television beside, Jessica Lange.
Right.
So, but the work is the same, the preparation and what I have to do as an actress, it's the same.
You remind me of Tracey Ullman.
Oh, that's so nice.
Because when I was growing up, I watched the Tracey Ullman show religiously. Even when I was little, I watched Tracey Ullman. And I loved that. I love that character acting stuff. So can you talk a little bit about your influences?
Yeah, well, she was one of them, for sure. I always sort of dreamt of having exactly that show. Like, all me, all the time.
It was a great
as
show.
different characters.
It was a great show, and it was actually really ahead of its time if you think about it.
Sure.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
the Naomi Grossman show would actually be really awesome.
Oh.
I think Comedy Central needs to get on that.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree with
Oh,
that.
That would be.
Thank you.
I've
been working on it myself,
But
but- Hearing somebody else say that,
Awesome
particularly
Talk
people I
present- Awesome Talk
no,
presents.
we barely met. That means a lot. Yeah, no, I would say that Tracey Ullman, Lily Tomlin, Carol Burnett,
Yes.
Gilda Radner,
Gilda.
any of these big sort of character comedians, like
Yeah.
Yes.
women not afraid to be, ugly and crazy and over the top. I like them to kind of take me on a journey, and that's why, like, for example, my one-person shows and one-person shows in general tend to, move me more because the goal is not necessarily about being funny, although it often is, but it's more about, telling a story and taking the audience on a little journey. And in a way that, standing up on stage with a beer, talking about airline food or, isn't going to do it,
Yeah.
So honestly, can't really answer that question. I don't have any female stand-ups that I, aspire to be like or even watch, really.
No, it's good. I like that, actually. That makes a lot of sense.
Have you had any, like, super weird fans, like, just
Well, I mean,
made you feel a little like you needed to leave?
Listen, I'm very thankful to my fans because they're the ones that, take me to Virginia,
Yes.
So I don't want to, there's obvious, the stereotype, kind of like guy who's never been laid living in his mama's basement.
Yeah, that's who we were talking about.
That's my brother.
Stereotype. No, so I don't actually buy into that. Although sometimes you wonder. I would say definitely, like, I've had some people like tweet me pictures of their junk on,
Nice. Well, you get that on Snapchat all the time.
Yeah, it's true. I saw you on Surfing Monkey with David Uri.
Awesome.
We had David Uri on the last show, and he was great. And one thing that you guys talked about was being character actors. So what I would like you to talk about, if you don't mind, is how do you define a character actor, and how do you end up defining yourself as one as opposed to people who just say, hey, I'm an actor?
Right. Well, I would think that's kind of a complex question because I think in Hollywood land, character actor means not pretty. So, at the end of the day, it's kind of messed up when you think about it because as actors, we're portraying other people, and other people, whether they're pretty or not, we're all characters, right? Which, so, but for whatever reason, you wouldn't classify Sandra Bullock as a character actor, even though she portrays characters. But that's just because, she's leading lady. So like I said, we all kind of have our type. And she's leading lady. Somebody younger, say Jessica Lawrence, would be an ingenue. And I'm a character actor. And that just means that I'm not as pretty as them. Which, again, like I said, I'm not fishing at all. But because I'm pretty, I clean up.
You are very pretty. You're very pretty. Absolutely.
No, but I mean, it's also like in the world, in Hollywood, they're, when you say pretty, they mean pretty. You know what I mean? It's a whole other level.
It's like genetically modified.
Yeah.
See, I can't even completely buy into that because I've been to Hollywood at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and those streets ain't pretty.
Like, I got an audition since I saw you a couple hours ago.
Not really? Right. Awesome.
Now that's work. That's putting work.
I mean, it's a character actress sort of audition. I'll read it to you right now.
Please.
It's
Exclusive.
This is just in. No, hold on. Let me find it for you.
Ironic.
So, like, this is very typical of something I would get that, Sandra Bullock wouldn't.
Okay.
And I consider it to be awesome. Like, she wishes. Female, bizarre character. Caucasian. Character-y. Interesting face. She is odd, weird, club freak type. All shapes and sizes. Think Grace Jones. Great actor. Great with facial expressions. So, whatever. Won't say anymore. I don't want to I'd like to get the role. But
That actually sounds like a lot more interesting of a role than any standard
Yeah, it does.
role I've ever seen.
Actually,
Right.
so at the
That's
end of the
intriguing.
day, it's just something. It's like there's something off. You know what I mean? And in Hollywood, that may mean a gap between your teeth. Maybe it's really skinny. Maybe it's really fat. Maybe it's just something like that sets you apart. That makes you not like classical beauty.
It sets you apart from what they consider the norm.
Right. I mean, at the same time, there is also a character actor could be defined as someone who plays characters, like big, crazy, extreme characters. And while I am not like classically beautiful and therefore could be considered a character, I like to think of myself as like a character actor because I can go there.
Right.
Like I'm not afraid to get ugly. You can cover me head to toe in prosthetics or not. Like I can transform into anything and everything. You name it. So that's what I like to think a character actor means. But unfortunately, in Hollywood, it doesn't necessarily.
Yeah.
If there's any sort of mental shift when you become Pepper, like, I mean, in between takes and stuff, and,
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I was one of the very few people that just got to just go for it in the same way you might, like, let's say in a comedy, only this was a drama.
Right.
And part of that was because of the nature of the character. Part of it was because I had such major prosthetics on my face is that I had to go over the top just to kind of act through the plastic. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
But preparation wise, I did my homework, obviously. I did a lot of like research on Schlitzie, which was the, microcephalic back from the 1930s
Right.
that the character was based on.
Right.
And, I worked with a coach and I did all those things that you want to do to make sure you're not, ruining takes on set, because pressure's on, it's expensive. But I would say that was just sort of preliminary homework that you just sort of shelve once you've done. And I think honestly, it's just like when you put on like a wig or something, and it just sort of like you naturally like speak a certain way or take on sort of a character. I think Pepper was a lot that way too. Like they do my makeup, and then it just sort of makes you want to like act a certain way too. So besides, like, people would sort of treat me on set differently than they would treat others. The crew would constantly be hi Pepper, and, it's kind of weird because I was like, no. They realize I'm
It's
like
just makeup, guys.
just makeup. You don't have to talk funny for me, But it was, if anything, it was flattering to think that like I had them convinced,
Well, every moment of Pepper on that show explodes off the.
Yeah.
There was one day that I got to go home as Pepper. And that's only because I actually went to a convention.
Okay.
It was here in LA, and it was actually happened to be the week of, it was like Halloween Saturday night. So basically the makeup crew did me on the stage,
Wow.
and then released me into the audience, and I like wreaked havoc on everyone, which was a lot of fun, especially because the show had only just aired. Like, I think it started in mid-October, and this was obviously late October. So for people in the know, if people were watching the show, they were like, "Oh my God, that's that thing!"
That's awesome. That's
And then
awesome.
even people who hadn't watched the show, they were like, "That's the thing."
That's a thing.
So, but then that
It's a
night,
well-oiled
I actually asked
machine.
the makeup people. I was like, they were actually having a Halloween party that night, and I was like, it doesn't make any sense for me to go home and like put on a witch hat, like I'm not gonna get anything better than this.
Not at all. Not at all.
And besides, like, they're makeup people, so they're gonna bring it.
Hell
for
yeah.
this Halloween party. Oh, so they, of course, were like, no, of course, come as Pepper. It's perfect. You're our pride and joy, after all. So, But so I had basically a couple hours to waste between the convention and the party. It was funny. I like drove home in my I've got like a little hot pink convertible. So
Sounds like an Artie in the pig costume story.
kind of ridiculous, you know what I mean, in this car. And now I've got a little pin on my head and I'm that big nose. You can imagine.
I would have gone
Pretty
to
great.
every public place
Oh,
possible
yeah.
with a car.
Absolutely.
I would have went straight to Walmart. Just straight to Walmart. And I would have headed like right to the electronics department and just started meandering around touching everything. Like it was fascinating. And like I would have wound up on 17 websites and a police blotter.
Believe me, I had big plans for my couple hours. I wanted to go to the Peninsula Hotel, which is like a really fancy posh spot.
Yes,
hotel,
there you go.
and like order high tea. Maybe
Sit
like go
right
to
in the middle of the lobby.
right, or go to like some like shishi salon and like ask for extensions. There's also this awesome place. It's called Jumbo's Clown Room, and it's actually like this amateur strip club. Where you can get up and dance on a pole. How money would that?
Oh my
That
god!
would have been
I would have given you a 5.
And you'd like to hear the little ditty about it.
Yes,
I thought it
please.
was actually really fun.
Oh, sure. Para-Drunken Activity was based on true events, much like Paranormal Activity.
Yes.
It was actually loosely based on a birthday I had a couple years ago. I had a birthday a couple days ago, but fortunately, it did not end this way. Not quite.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday! Oh yeah, we forgot. Happy birthday!
Happy
by the
birthday.
way, again.
Thank you. No, my let's see. I had this crazy birthday, and I woke up in the morning, and I stumbled to my closet to to change clothes, and all my clothes were wet, and I realized that in the night I confused my closet for like the bathroom. I peed on all my clothes. So and it wasn't just that.
Are you
like,
sure it
I
wasn't
my
David
phone-
Urey?
What's that?
Are you sure it wasn't David Urey?
No, but I
Point,
like
awesome
looked
talk.
at my phone. And there were all these like calls. Like I'd been texting like just booty calling all these like random people, like my dry cleaner. Like, why do I even have their number?
I don't know.
It's sexy, in the middle of the night. It's so weird. Anyway, it was one of those things where I was like, I spent the entire next day like trying to piece together what had happened that night. And it just reminded me of those movies, because they just come out at the time.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like, no way to know what happened unless you put a camera in the corner. So anyway, that's how that came about.
We could please, right?
Yeah, we could show
Yeah,
it.
and we could
why
please,
not?
yeah. So there's
That
a
I have
story
to say,
behind
that's
We Could
like one of
Please,
my
right?
favorite. It has a special place in my heart. That was based on this an actual Wigga who actually picked me
The
up.
rare Wigga.
What
They're out
was what was
there.
the line that got you from this guy?
Yo, baby.
Yo, girl.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
want to kick it sometime?
Oh, that is a classic. That's a good one.
It
That's
works
a
every
good one.
time.
Shody!
It's like my kryptonite.
At any point did he say, we gonna party like it's your birthday?
It's your birthday.
Remember, not to be mistaken with birthday,
Yeah, right.
but birthday.
Birthday.
F.
It happens here on the earth.
On the earth.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I mean, when he asked me out, I was like, yes.
Yes.
This is happening.
Immediately.
Like,
I need
I'm
some street
writing the script
cred.
right now. Like, don't mind me. Oh my gosh. And like, the crazy thing is, who knew that, we'd go out and I'd want to see him again? Or like, 3
Not
months
you,
later,
apparently.
we'd still be doing this. Like, really?
He must have some mad bling.
First hat.
Poor
He's
man's
the one that broke
skills.
up with me, which is just like,
Oh.
like, how did that happen? I mean, really, like,
Can you plug yourself? Where can people find you? Where's the best place to
okay,
store?
well, I'm on Twitter. No junk, thank you.
None.
I'm sure
Yes,
everyone's.
Yeah, Stones.
I'll be
I've
good.
seen it. I know what it
You
looks
haven't
like.
seen mine,
I don't.
but okay.
I don't need to see yours. Same as for your girlfriend.
She's seen many
Okay.
versions.
Oh, let her go. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you can tweet me, Naomi W Grossman. I'm verified. I got one of those little blue checks, so you know it's me.
Official.
I've got a Facebook fan page,
Okay.
which is not nearly as creepy as my friend page. So please be my fan. You are my fan. Can't believe I have to say that. Anyway, what else? Oh, YouTube. I've got obviously all my Red Meat Entertainment stuff. It's all on my YouTube channel, which is, I believe, also Naomi Grossman. Or you might look up Red Meat Entertainment. And in fact, subscribe because
Yes.
while I may actually, I'm trying to decide if my days of producing silly shorts are over. But the fact is, there's all sorts of perks for people with a substantial number of subscribers, which I don't have yet. So if people will subscribe to me, that actually helps me.
We'll get you there, baby. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
gonna.
don't stop making YouTube.
We're gonna
Please
make it our
don't.
mission.
Yeah,
Yeah, do not quit YouTube.
Honestly, I really do think that the Naomi Grossman show is a real thing.
Yes,
That's
yes,
gonna
it
happen.
should be
Yeah,
great.
it should happen.
It should happen.
Thank you.
Naomi,
I'll let people know.
thank you so much. This
Excellent.
clink goes out to
Awesome.
Naomi Grossman.
Great, Naomi. Thank you so
Awesome.
much
Yay.
again.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
That.
Take care, sweetie. Bye.
Okay, bye.